morning, everybody. And what is today? Wednesday, November 16th. And I still got this sinus stuff going on. I'm sorry. Let me do a quick sound check, everybody. See, because we want to make sure we can hear today. Hear today, hear tomorrow, hear every day. Hold on. Here we go. Sound check. Sound check. Sound check.
Here today, here
Yes,
tomorrow.
yes, we can hear. Okay. And I'll be doing another sound check because we're going to watch a brief video. Anyway, so what's going on? Well, we're holding out 28 days of inventory. Life is steady. Sales are coming in. Listings are going up. Homes 400,000 and under. We have 755 of those. And 33 were just listed yesterday. So we're rocking along, everybody. $1 million homes, still 4 a day. Non-owner occupied, still 45 a day. This month, we're averaging 138 homes, which is awesome. Per day, we're selling. And we're beating last year, hands down, by 16%. I think what we're going to see this year, everybody, is hey, good morning, Karen. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining me. I think that the year is going to play out this way. I don't see why it would change when we have so many people moving here, when we have so many jobs that are coming online. And we talk about the $22 billion worth of projects that are online. Some are in process, some are coming online. But our future, to me, looks pretty good. Again, just the water. But I'm as soon as the water district reports, will alert the nation, because I think they've got it figured out. I don't know. I really don't know how, but I believe. So we've been talking about building your business for 2022, your business plan, and we talk about this. Let me put the stats down. They're boring, isn't that wonderful? Okay. So we talked about our financial management. Hopefully you all have had time to get your personal expenses itemized and figured out how much business you want to do next year and how many contacts you have to make for that business. And then, as is said, all business is innovation of marketing. And we're going to talk about that today a little bit. I attended the Tom Ferry Blueprint event a week or so ago. I guess it's been 2 weeks now, maybe. And it was a 2-day event. And there's a clip I want to play today when he talks about what's in store for us for 2022 and beyond. And Tom Ferry spends a lot of time. He has a lot of research and development people working on figuring out what's going to happen in the future. So we're going to listen to him. And I have prepared some slides. Let me hide this. And so we're talking about, my love just brought me some fresh coffee. Thank you, honey. Oh, it's hot. Oh, we like hot coffee. Thank you. Is your business ready for what's to come? And I thought that this would be a great thing to put in there. Hi, Deborah. Good. Y'all are getting pieces of gold here. And take it seriously, because our business is changing. I don't know if you know that I think it was yesterday, the National Association of Realtors and the Department of Justice came to an agreement, and that was that we have to be transparent about the fact that, hi, Bill. Good morning, Bill. Good morning, Bill. Good to see you. The fact that we have to be transparent about our commissions and who's getting paid what. And we'll see that the MLSs have to prepare by January, and it has to go live, I think, in March. Everybody has to comply. I'm not real sure how that's going to play out yet, because it's been tried in other markets, but I didn't get the feedback, even though I did some research. They said it doesn't really make any difference. Where it's going to make a difference is what we're going to talk about today, what Tom Ferry is going to talk about what's coming. And this is combined with that. what the NAR and the DOJ settled upon. That combined with what we're going to learn about what Tom Ferry thinks of the future, we have to take seriously and make that information part of our business plan. That's my point. So I want to get started with this. It's about 15 minutes. It's really, really good. So let's listen. I think. Okay, here we go. This is a technical thing, right? So hang on. I got it up here. I got to go to the page. Where's the page? I know they don't tell you. Hold on. Where is it? Tab X. Oh, there it is. Okay, there it is. And we're going to go into, is your business ready for, you got it there, right? Okay, I'm going to start playing it, and then I'm going to do a sound check to make sure that you can all hear it. So this is really important.
Where's the industry going? And for a lot of you that are out there watching, like, again, I point out Gantry Wilson, who, when we started our company 19 years ago, Gantry was the first person to become one of our coaching members, besides like the 11 people, Gantry, that, Maxine Gellens and Stephen Christie and all these incredible people, right? And Gantry, by the way, that year, in his first year in the business, Rookie of the Year, and he's never looked back. But if you think about 19 years ago, Gantry moved through the global economic meltdown and, figured out short sales, figured out REOs, right? Figured out all of that side of the world. And then as the world was coming out, he figured out, everything is changing. It's geographic farms, it's doing videos, it's social media. He's been able to navigate a lot of different markets where a lot of people haven't. Now, I say that because obviously, Gantry, you've done a phenomenal job and you should be super proud of yourself. And I know you are. And yet you also know that I showed this slide at the summit this year. And I said, sitting here right now, Doug, it feels a little like 2006 in that there's something happening in our industry and not enough people are paying attention to it. So for my coaching members, you know what I'm referring to. Allow me to introduce to everybody else what we already know, right? We've been talking a lot about, these trends that are happening in our industry. And for a lot of my friends back in 2015, when I came out and said, teams are going to take over the world, teams are going to start selling like brokerages, but the big one is commission compression. And I'm not referring to discounters. Instead, it's the argument. And by the way, it got put on steroids with Zillow in the last 10 days. So I hope you're paying attention. What I've been saying to everybody is, what are you going to do when Zillow opens up a real estate office, or Quicken opens up a real estate office? Or let me give you the new enemy. Write this in your notes. You ready? Better.com. 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 Because you know what Better's doing? I got a direct mail piece. I shared this with my Team Plus clients. And if you're out there, you remember, I live in Dallas, Texas, in a high rise. In kind of let's call it the north part of Dallas, where the sales prices continue to get a little higher and higher. And in my building, I'm going through my mail. Yes, I actually do that now and then. And I see this postcard, flimsy, kind of ugly, really cheap paper. But I look at every postcard, especially if it's real estate related, because I'm looking for, like, is that a good one or is that a bad one? And if that's a bad one, is that my client? Do I need to call them and say, what the hell, right? But in this case, the postcard just said, ready? Everything is bigger in Texas except our commissions. Everything is bigger in Texas except our commissions. And the headline, Gantry, because we know it was so small, it was hard to read. So the good news is they're bad at marketing, right? The bad news is that was sent to probably 10,000 people in my marketplace with an average sales price of at least $2.5 million. And the offer was, you ready? List your home with us, buy a home from us, 0 commission, just use our mortgage company. List or sell with us, 0 commission, just use our mortgage company. You know who's going the same route? Quicken. Zillow, after finally getting rid of this, obnoxious, crazy iBuyer business, are now going back to that tiny little business they have called IMT, which is $2 billion a year in revenue. And that's the one, right? Quicken does it, Redfin does it, Zillow does it, and about 40 other businesses. And you know what they're doing, my friends? They're generating clients, they're sending them to you, and they're asking for a referral fee. I would argue right now that is one of the biggest threats, not to your business, but to your income. Not to your business, but to your bottom line. Not just to your business, but potentially to your brand and your reputation. So I've been rousing people and saying, here we are, even though we've gone through this horrific experience called COVID, which for us was both tragedy and triumph, right? Tragedy because, to see anyone pass away from an experience like this or, be in the situation that we were in is tragic, yes? But on the flip side, housing has been triumphant. Housing has been this beautiful shining light. Home prices up 17.5% across the country. I mean, it's been nuts. And yet I tell people, while this is happening, this is what's going on behind the scenes. What's going on behind the scenes is agents' income is being disrupted. You're doing all the same work, but you're making less money. And we know why, just high level. It's because forever the old model was agents controlled all the business. And what many people predicted was that iBuyer would be huge. It looks like iBuyer is going to sit at around 0.5, 0.7, maybe get to 1%. We'll see what Open Door and OfferPad. By the way, their earnings calls are today. So it's going to be interesting to, get the feedback. I'll listen tonight and I'll share it with you guys. But see that green one? It's referral fees. It's referral fees. Now, in your notes, please write this down. Even for my coaching clients, I want you to get this. There's good referral fees and there's egregious referral fees. Good referral fees, right? I see Josh, right? He's up in Vancouver and I'm like, Josh, hey man, my buddy lives in Vancouver, wants to sell his apartment. Can you help him out? And Josh is like, I got your back, TF, no problem. Boom, lists, sells it, does a beautiful job, pays me a 25% referral fee. Those are good all day long. Egregious is 35%, 42%, and higher. And what I want you all to get is, especially now with a company like Zillow, and I'm not advocating for or against, now that they've gotten rid of this multi-billion-dollar line item, they're going to look to push as hard as they can to get more and more referral fees going across the country. And for all my Canadians, they're already there. So don't be shocked in 2022 when Zillow launches Flex in Vancouver, in Ottawa, in Alberta. It's coming. So then the question is, what's going to happen? Where does it all end up? And again, for my dear friends, what have I said to you? Right? I thought, iBuyers was going to be small, and I think we were right with that. But my prediction is in the next 3 years, half of every real estate transaction in the country will have a referral fee associated to it. Half of every half of every transaction in the country will have a referral fee associated, whether it's relocation, right? Zillow, Realtor, on down the line, home buyers, this, that, Nest, all of them, right? There's a lot of them out there. And here's what you guys got to get, right? There is a way that we can solve it, but a lot of agents are going to get impacted by this. So here's what I wrote down. You ready? It begs the question, and certainly I see a couple of my coaches, they're going to back me up on this. The argument for, actually, I'm going to say it to you this way. What is really fascinating about the whole Zillow phenomenon is, and you should write this in your notes. You ready? What we really learned is the algorithm lost. That's what we really learned. That the algorithm of home buying without a human being behind it saying, wait a minute, buying a $900,000 house in San Diego on a busy street for $100,000 more than asking is a bad idea. By raise of hands, how many of you get the way I described that, why that's a bad idea? Right? Gantry, Yvonne, what was the number one sign of an REO, right, during the global economic meltdown? On a busy street. It was like automatic. But see, the algorithm that they set up, we thought was genius. And they're buying and buying and buying and buying and buying. But because they had no one like you saying, hey, in my marketplace, that street, bad idea. Right? But the algorithm said, but the comps 5, 6, 7, 8 streets in all said X, so we can afford to buy Y. So the way I describe it, and I don't have a slide for it, but how many of you saw any of the Avenger movies? Raise your hands really high. How many of you saw any one of the Avenger movies? Now, I'm a fan of all these ones, but the one I like the most is Tony Stark. The one I like the most is Iron Man. And the reason why, and I want you to write this in your notes, ready? Because this is what I want you to get. Over the next 2 days, and as you progress in your career, the goal isn't, right, robots taking over the world. It's extraordinary men and women like all of you putting on the robot suit, right? It's that brilliant, powerful individual, that extraordinary woman who's out selling houses, who puts on the Iron Man suit or Iron Woman suit, I guess we would call it. But the point is this, ready? It's the great agent with the tech. It's the great agent with the algorithm. Yes, thank you for the Iron Man in the background. I appreciate that, guys. Yes. I see Doug up there. Now, you ready? If you get that visual, I believe that that's the agent of the future. It's the agent that, let's just look at it. You ready? Very simply, it's the agent that says, I run my business like a business, which means so much to so many of us. But looking at a few of my coaches, we would argue, ready, if I'm running my business like a business, I track my numbers. I understand that marketing and lead generation, the funnel is mandatory, right? I'm going to hire great people. I'm going to expand the business. I'm going to focus on client experience. I'm going to do whatever it takes to innovate to serve my customers. So running it like a business, there's a lot to that. But the number 2 thing we've already talked about, which is we've got to build that trusted brand. Ask yourself this question. You ready? In your notes, write this down. What is my brand building plan for 2022? What am I going to do to put my brand on steroids? Matter of fact, I'm going to share something with you as you're writing. I would even go as far as to say, what is going to be the iconic moment for you and your business in 2022? What's going to be the moment where everybody in your marketplace goes, holy shit, did you see what did? Right? What's going to be that moment? Now, I'd rather it not be, you getting arrested and on the 5 o'clock news, right? I'd prefer that it was a well thought out, well constructed, maybe a video, maybe a piece of content, maybe an event that you do that, Josh, imagine this, that all of a sudden, not only every agent in Vancouver knows, but the vast majority of consumers hear about it. I'll give you guys an example, an iconic moment just a few years ago. My personal client, Tim Smith, lists a house on the ocean, and I wouldn't say, no, it's probably the most expensive home he had ever listed. So make a note, ready? My most expensive listed home in 2022, like maybe that's the moment. He gets this super incredible listing. He calls me and says, hey, I'm thinking about doing something a little out of the box for this house. And we brainstorm, and I'm thinking to myself, boy, if he does this, this is either going to it's going to blow up, right? Or maybe it'll be too campy, but you know what? Let's go for it. And many of you know what I'm referring to. He created a video, and you should write this down if you don't know it. The video was called Teach Me How to Duffy. Teach Me How to Duffy. Here's what he did. He shoots this incredible video, and some of you have seen the video, so you know what I'm referring to. And it is, musicians, a rap band, there's dancing, there's beautiful guys and gals. The house is basically turned into this massive party, and Tim Smith actually got a rap during the song. And for him, right, I refer to him as the lily white boy from Utah. It was hysterical. He's got no Eminem in him, in case you're wondering. But guess what happened? When we launched the video, you know what they did? They immediately put ad dollars behind it. They immediately sent it to all the local, via email, all of the local news outlets. And overnight, this video gets 5 million views. It blows up on Facebook. It blows up on Instagram. And guess what? After all was said and done, he got 2 offers on the property. And both the people had watched the video, and that's why they came in. Now, you might say, well, I don't live in a place like that. I don't live in a place on the water. But the point is this. He said, I'm going to really go for it on this one. I'm going to try and create a moment. So here's the punchline. You ready? The restaurant that they were riding around in these little boats and went and enjoyed a cocktail and filmed in actually now has a drink made after his video on their menu. I want you to think about that. A real estate agent's listing video has a cocktail named after it in one of the most iconic restaurants there in the harbor of Newport Beach. I would call that an iconic moment. Does that make sense, everybody? Give me a yes if that makes sense to you.
Yeah!
Now, again, brand building, creating trust, creating connection at scale, right? Tomorrow, Jason's going to walk you through all kinds of videos that you should be creating. Maybe that's it. Maybe it is, watch this, guys. Maybe it's the fact that you take your top 10 clients and you fly them all down to Cabo San Lucas and you film the whole thing and you refer to them as the 10 people that referred you the most business in 2021, and you're celebrating that. And now all 4,000 people in your database get the video. All 4,000 people that you have on Facebook and Instagram are like, I sent you a referral last year. What do I have to do to be a part of that? I don't know what it is, but write this in your notes. You ready? If you're not thinking about an iconic moment, you won't have one. If you're not thinking about an iconic moment, you won't have one. And I know all my coaches that are watching around the world, Doug, it's a fun exercise to take your clients through. What's going to be the iconic moment that we're going to create in 2022 that has everybody in our marketplace on notice? Make sense? All right, so that's the second one. The third one, the agent of the future understands that marketing and business development is the game, always and forever. Always and forever. Attracting new and conversion. We're going to talk a lot about, your lead generation sources, and we're going to plan out certain activities and, the core that you want to focus on. But I want you to get, guys, look up here. The great Peter Drucker, one of the greatest business consultants of all time, made this statement. All business is innovation in marketing. All business is innovation in marketing. And then he said, and if you think it isn't, stop doing both and watch what happens. Write this in your notes, everybody. Everybody, ready? Your highest priority is to put your marketing on steroids. Whatever you think you're doing now that's good, I'm looking for 2 to 3 times more. If you're doing direct mail and it's working and you're only mailing to 600 people, go to 6,000. And after you figure out 6,000, go to 60,000. If you're creating videos and they're getting 3 and 4 and 500 views, but you only do 1 a week, go to 1 a day and watch what happens. We're in the business of trust, my friends. Every single one of us, we are in the business of trust. And how do you get that trust out there? It's through all of your marketing channels. So they get to know you, like you, and trust you. Write this down in your notes. You ready? Do I need a marketing person full-time? The answer is probably yes. For the vast majority, the answer is probably yes. I'm getting ahead of myself. Now, trusted advisor consultations you guys get. By the way, for all my coaching members, you want some good news? We're bringing back a modified version of Sales Edge and Marketing Edge in 2022. In person, face-to-face, role-playing, marketing, videos, and more. So just get ready, it's all coming. And then, of course, the last one is if I'm really going to be an agent of the future, I'm going to have a team, and I'm going to look to take all my skills and transfer them across to everybody else. So here's my question for you guys as we're opening this up. The question is, what are you thinking about? What's on your mind? I want to see in the comments, what's on your mind? What are you thinking about? We're just, a short period of time in here. What are you thinking about right now? Right? I like that, right? 10Xing my marketing. I love it. Overwhelmed already. That's good. We're only 45 minutes in. Perfect. Right? What's going to be my iconic moment? I love that. Right? Iconic moment. Yep. How do I get a full-time marketer? All my coaching clients. Courtney's going to cover that tomorrow inside of a Loom. Yep. Blakely said it. Branding, and more branding. I love it. Ryan, delegation, absolutely. 10Xing my marketing, love it. 10Xing could be a little overwhelming. For many of you, if you just double or triple, it's more than enough. So Jesse says, where do I start? So Jesse, I'm really glad you asked that because that's really what I want to get into. I'm going to move beyond questions for a minute. And so do me a favor, everybody, just put your arms up like this. Just put your arms up. And I can only see a couple hundred of you, but there's thousands of you watching right now. So just kind of arms up, just go like this, kind of, move your hips a little bit. Okay, just for fun, can you do this? Show me if you can do this. Oh, wow, okay, you guys are, all right, this is good. I'm just messing with you. All right, here's why. I want to ask you the most important question I would argue that I'm going to ask you for the entire 2 days. And here's the question. You ready? What are you building? what are you building? So I was thinking about the context of this. So I work with about 300 of the top teams between the US, Canada, Mexico, and around the world. And we get together and we spend a couple days together, and we do these think tanks where we really challenge one another. And what was fascinating, just literally maybe 3 weeks ago, having them all together, the question that I open with is, what are you building? So let me give you context. So Gantry, we're young. We're going to do this for another 10, 15 years. When you started 18, 19 years ago, right? Did you start with a clear, this is what I'm building? Or was it about, oh my God, I got to get started. How do I use the MLS? How do I negotiate? What's the next marketing thing? And we're scrambling, if you will, to build something, to become productive, to help clients, to sell some real estate. Well, now for the vast majority of you, now it's time to take a step back. It's time to take back and just dream with me for a little bit. Now, you all remember this slide, and it's one of my all-time favorites. And I shared it with everybody at team, reminding them that, the mama pig who had 3 baby real estate agents and let them all loose and said, go start your life. One of them was really lazy, and he built his business out of hay. And we know what happens. If your business is built out of hay and interest rates climb, you're done. If you build your business out of hay and, one of your best, most iconic friends goes into the real estate business, she takes all of your business away. Your business is built out of hay, right? If you're a little bit better, you built it out of wood, out of sticks, and it's a little more stable, a little less flimsy. But what do we ultimately want to do? The metaphor is we want to build our business out of bricks. We want to make our business as sustainable as possible, that can work through up markets and down markets, that's always going to be relevant. They're always going to be competitive. So it's more of a metaphorical example. And I love, like, when I'm face to face, literally I will say to people, share with me, like, what's your business made out of? And I will have people say some bricks, some sticks, and some hay, which always makes me laugh. But my point to you is metaphorically, as we sit here with, many days left, certainly for 2021, and a whole year in front of us for 2022, I want to ask you some big questions. And then I want to challenge you. We're going to get a little workshop-y here, so this isn't just you listening. Here's my first question. You ready? What does your dream business look like?
Okay. Well, if you took notes, congratulations, because this is something that I thought was priceless.
Okay. Well,
Let me turn myself off here. There we go. So he's talking about what's coming, and what's coming is we're going to get a lot of competition. We already know that Zillow has 2 companies here, just up here in beside Red Rock Casino in that office building. They have 2 companies, and so they're poised to do what he's saying that they're going to do. And what they're saying is Quicken's going to say, I will pay your costs if you use my mortgage company. And they're going to get the clients, and then they're going to sell them back to us. And of course, that's why I am so really emphasize all the time that you have to have a farm. You have to have people that know, like, and trust you, that know your name, that you're in front of them so much that, when you say, oh, did you see what Quicken's doing? And this is what I can do for you. And we have to do that, or we like he said, it's not going to impact our business. It's going to impact our bottom line. We'll still get business because they're going to, at least for now, they're going to give us the business, refer it to us for 25, 35, 45, 50%. We don't know. And that's what we need to prepare for. We need to build our business out of bricks, is really the bottom line. If you have 15 minutes, listen to those, everything he said, listen to it again and take notes and understand the flow. I thought he did a very good job of flowing from where we were to where we are to what's happening, and we don't even know it. The fact that the NAR just said that, commissions have to be transparent. Well, there you go. That's going to be the first knock at the door in March when everybody has to display what the buyer's getting. We can't advertise anymore that it doesn't cost anything to do business with me. Because basically, and then what you don't say is, well, the seller's paying me, or maybe you do say it. But anyway, these things are critical to our future. So please, if you have the time, listen to this again and take notes. And we're going to talk about your iconic moments. We're going to get much more into video, much more into the detail of building your business. The sales and marketing is where it happens. And along with sales and marketing is customer service. They kind of go hand in hand, but there is a distinction. Oh, please. Can't wait till I'm done with this stuff. Anyway, so we are going to get more and more into that in the next phase, because we basically outlined our business. Once you have your goals and once you have your financial platform set and you know what you're going to do, then the sales and marketing comes in. And we hit the highlights, but we're going to go forward hitting it in more detail. So once you have your business plan built, then we're going to decide how we accomplish it. And that's what we're going to do between now and the end of the year. And hopefully you all have a wonderful day today. We have a class. It's called Agency, 3CE Agencies. And it's really a good class because Jimmy delves into the fact that your client actually signs one piece of paper about agency, but the division looks at that one sheet of paper and they created 22 pages in their handbook of how many parts of your transaction that impacts. And so knowing it and knowing where it impacts so that you're always compliant is critical. We're under a microscope, if you haven't noticed, and it seems like more and more. And I look at the open door on the realtor bulletin, or open house it's called, sorry. And anyway, there's less and less property management offenses and there's more and more regular agent offenses. So I think that coming up, we're going to be continued to be under scrutiny. So the consumer gets smarter because of the internet, and the smarter they get, the more they look at how we conduct ourselves during business. And you need to be pretty straight line. And hopefully you'll come to the class anyway. It's today from 2 to 5. You can still sign up at bee.vegas. Jimmy Dague is always entertaining, and he just created this new class. I'm kind of his sidekick, and we have a good time, and we have refreshments today because it's 2 to 5. It's not lunch, but it's refreshments, snacks, cheese, usually some condiments and some vegetables, and just appetizer type things. And I think Sam's bringing some wine, Samantha from Home Service bringing some wine and some sodas. So hope to see you all this afternoon. It's a great class. You need more credits, so get them now. And even if you don't need agency, this is still a good class to improve how you do your business. Learn more to earn more. Love you all, and see you tomorrow. We're going to continue with building our business.